My parents gave unequal support to my brother and limited my income. But after I achieved career advancement and financial independence, I set clear boundaries that calmly shifted influence and changed how my family treated me. You need to co-sign this loan for your brother. It's what family does. My mother's voice came through the phone with that familiar expectation, like my answer was already decided. I stared at the loan documents she'd emailed me an hour ago. $45,000. For a business venture my brother Tyler had dreamed up over a weekend. His third failed business idea in 2 years. The difference was, this time they needed my signature because the bank wouldn't approve him without a co-signer who actually had good credit and stable income. Which meant me. The son they'd capped at $30,000 a year when I worked at the family business, while Tyler drew $55,000 for doing half the work. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. I'm 29 now, a senior financial analyst at a major firm, 3 years removed from the family business, 2 years into actual financial stability. And they wanted me to risk it all because family sticks together. I'll need to think about it, I said carefully. The silence on the other end felt like disapproval manifesting through the phone line. Think about it. Tyler needs an answer by Wednesday. He's already found office space. Office space for a business that didn't have funding yet. That tracked. Then I'll give you an answer Tuesday night, I said. More silence. Then my father's voice came on the line, which meant she'd put me on speaker. Great. Son, I know you're doing well now, and we're proud of that. But Tyler's struggling. He needs this opportunity. He needs his family to believe in him. The same speech they'd given me when I asked why Tyler made nearly double my salary at the family business despite working fewer hours. When I'd asked why they paid for his entire college tuition while I had to take loans for mine. When I questioned why Tyler got the new company truck while I drove my own car for business errands. The answer was always the same. Tyler needed support. Tyler was finding his way. Tyler required encouragement to reach his potential. As if I hadn't needed any of those things. I'll review everything and call you Tuesday, I repeated. My mother's sigh was audible. We just don't want you to regret not helping your brother when he needed you most. The call ended shortly after. I sat in my apartment, the one I'd rented in the city after finally leaving home at 26. The loan documents glowed on my laptop screen. $45,000 of liability. For a boutique marketing agency Tyler wanted to start despite having no marketing experience beyond running unsuccessful social media campaigns for his previous ventures. The business plan was 12 pages of buzzwords and optimistic projections. No market analysis. No competitive research. Just enthusiasm and the assumption that clients would appear because he was good at talking to people. I closed the laptop. My phone buzzed 5 minutes later. Tyler. Hey man, Mom said you're thinking about the loan thing. His voice had that casual tone that always appeared when he wanted something. Yeah, I need to review it properly, I said. There's not much to review. It's pretty straightforward. I start the agency, land some clients, and pay everything back within 2 years. You won't have to actually pay anything. The confidence in his voice was remarkable. Tyler, if you default, they come after me. My credit gets destroyed. I could lose my apartment. That's not going to happen. Your last business closed after 8 months. Silence. Then, that was different. I didn't have proper funding. This time I'll have actual capital to work with. Capital I'd be liable for. And the coffee shop before that lasted what? 5 months. 6 months. And that failed because of the location. The landlord misrepresented the foot traffic. There was always a reason. Never his execution. Never his planning. Always external factors he couldn't have predicted. I'm not saying no, I said, though I was absolutely saying no. I just need time to review everything properly. Mom and Dad said you'd help. They told me you're making good money now and that you'd want to support family. That familiar pressure. The implication that my success was somehow obligated to their needs. I'll let you know Tuesday, I said. The call ended less warmly than it started. I spent Saturday reviewing the loan documents properly. The terms were aggressive. 7% interest. 5-year repayment period. Joint and several liability, meaning the bank could pursue me for the full amount if Tyler missed even one payment. I opened a spreadsheet and ran the numbers. Tyler's projected revenue was optimistic at best, delusional at worst. He estimated landing 12 clients in the first 3 months, each paying $3,000 monthly for comprehensive marketing services. $36,000 monthly revenue by month 3. I'd worked in financial analysis long enough to know that client acquisition never moved that fast, especially not for an unknown agency run by someone with no proven track record. More realistically, he might land 2 clients in 3 months if he hustled hard. 6,000 monthly revenue. Maybe 8,000 by month 6 if things went well. His projected expenses were somehow even more optimistic. He'd budgeted nothing for client acquisition costs. No marketing budget for his marketing agency. The irony wasn't lost on me. His salary projection for himself was 4,000 monthly from day one, before landing a single client. I closed the spreadsheet. This was a disaster waiting to happen. Sunday morning, my phone rang again. "Dad, your mother's upset. She feels like you're not taking this seriously." I was taking it very seriously. That was the problem. "I'm doing due diligence," I said. "This is a major financial commitment. Tyler's your brother. Sometimes family means taking a leap of faith." The same father who'd never taken a leap of faith on me, who'd literally capped my income at the family business because entry to mid-level positions have salary ranges we need to respect. Ranges that apparently didn't apply to Tyler. "Dad, the business plan doesn't add up. His revenue projections are unrealistic, and his expenses are incomplete. He's passionate about this. Passion counts for a lot. Passion didn't pay back bank loans." "I'm not trying to be difficult," I said, "but I have to protect myself financially." "You're protecting yourself at the expense of your brother's future." The guilt trip was subtle but present. His future shouldn't require risking mine. Dad's voice hardened slightly. "We helped you get through college. We gave you a job when you needed experience. We supported you until you were ready to move on. Now Tyler needs support, and you're hesitating." The selective memory was impressive. They'd helped me get through college with loans in my name that I was still paying off. They'd given me a job at below-market rates while paying Tyler nearly double despite his lower productivity. They'd supported me by letting me live at home and contribute to household expenses until I was 26. Support that came with strings and expectations. "I haven't said no," I reminded him. "I said I need until Tuesday. Tuesday might be too late. The office space won't wait." Tyler hadn't even secured funding yet, but he'd already committed to office space. "Perfect. Then I'll try to have an answer by Monday night," I said. The call ended with clear disappointment on his end. I spent the rest of Sunday researching similar businesses. Boutique marketing agencies had a 48% failure rate within the first 2 years. The successful ones typically started as side projects while the founder maintained stable income elsewhere, or they were started by people with existing industry experience and client relationships. Tyler had neither. He had enthusiasm and a loan application with my name attached. Monday morning at work, I mentioned the situation to my colleague David during lunch. "Co-signing for family is how people destroy their credit," he said immediately. David was 42, had been through a bankruptcy years ago, and was aggressively protective of his financial stability now. "I know the risks logically," I said, "but there's family pressure. Family pressure doesn't make your mortgage payment when he defaults." I knew he was right, but knowing intellectually and feeling it emotionally were different things. "They've been calling constantly. My mom left 3 voicemails yesterday." David leaned back in his chair. "Let me guess. They helped you when you needed it. So now it's your turn to help." "Exactly that." "Close enough," I said. "Did they help you unconditionally or with expectations?" I thought about the years at the family business, the salary cap, the constant comparisons to Tyler, the implication that I should be grateful for the opportunity while Tyler deserved his higher pay. "With expectations," I admitted. "Then you don't owe them anything beyond basic respect and courtesy. You definitely don't owe them your financial security." I wanted to argue, but couldn't find solid ground. Monday evening, Tyler texted me. "Did you decide?" I hadn't responded yet when another text came through. "I really need this, man. This could change everything for me." Then another. "Mom said you're worried about the plan. I can adjust the numbers if that helps." Adjusting the numbers to get my approval wasn't the same as having a solid business foundation. I called him instead of texting back. "Tyler, I looked at everything carefully. The projections don't work. They're just projections. Obviously things might vary a bit. A bit. You're projecting 12 clients by month 3 with no marketing budget and no industry experience. I'm good with people. I can network." Networking was great. It didn't replace actual client acquisition strategy. "And you're paying yourself 4,000 monthly from day one, before you have revenue. I need to live. I can't work for free. Neither could I when I was building my career. But I'd done it anyway because that's what starting out required. Tyler, if I co-sign this and you default, I lose everything I've built. My credit gets destroyed. I probably lose my apartment because I can't refinance or get approved for another lease. That's not going to happen. The certainty in his voice, despite having failed twice already, was remarkable. You've said that before. About the coffee shop. About the meal prep business. Those were learning experiences. Expensive ones. That he hadn't paid for because mom and dad had covered his losses both times. I can't do it, I said finally. Silence. Then, seriously, I'm sorry, but I can't risk my financial stability. So you're just going to let me fail before I even start? I'm not letting you do anything. I'm protecting myself from substantial financial liability. His voice rose. Mom and dad said you'd help. They said family supports each other. They can co-sign if they believe in it that strongly. More silence. Then, their credit isn't good enough. The bank already said no. And there it was. The bank had already rejected them. But somehow I was supposed to take on risk that professional underwriters had deemed too high. That should tell you something about the risk level, I said. It tells me the bank doesn't know me. You do. You know I'll make this work. I knew he believed he'd make it work. I also knew that belief and execution were entirely different things. I'm sorry, Tyler. My answer is no. The call ended abruptly. He hung up without saying goodbye. 10 minutes later, my phone rang. Mom. I let it go to voicemail. She called twice more before leaving a message. I played it on speaker. I'm extremely disappointed in you. Your brother needs help, and you're turning your back on him. After everything we've done for you, this is how you repay us? By abandoning family when it matters? Call me back. The message ended. I didn't call back. Dad called an hour later. I answered because avoiding them forever wasn't realistic. Tyler's devastated, he said immediately. I'm sorry he's upset, but I can't co-sign the loan. Can't or won't. Both. Dad's voice got quieter, which was somehow worse than yelling. You know, when you were struggling, we could have turned our backs on you. We could have said you were on your own. But we didn't. We gave you opportunities. We supported you. The revisionist history was exhausting. You gave me a job at $30,000 a year while paying Tyler $55,000 for less work. You called that support. Silence. Then, Tyler needed more support at that time. And I didn't. You were always more self-sufficient. Tyler needed encouragement. Self-sufficient was code for, we expected you to figure it out alone. So I got punished for being responsible. No one punished you. We made decisions based on what each of you needed. And now I'm making a decision based on what I need, which is protecting my financial security. Dad's voice hardened again. If that's your final decision, fine. But don't expect us to keep treating you like family when you won't act like family. The threat was clear. Help Tyler or face consequences. That's your choice to make, I said carefully. Just remember this moment when you need something from us someday. I almost laughed. When had I ever gotten something from them without strings attached? I'll keep that in mind, I said. The call ended coldly. I sat in my apartment, feeling the weight of the boundary I'd just set. My phone stayed quiet for 2 days. Then Wednesday morning, Tyler posted on Facebook. A long post about dreams deferred and family disappointment. He didn't name me directly, but the implication was clear. Someone in his family had refused to help him pursue his dreams. The comments rolled in. Friends and relatives expressing sympathy, asking who would do such a thing. My aunt commented, family should always support each other. My cousin, that's terrible. You deserve better. More comments in the same vein. I closed Facebook without responding. Thursday evening, my grandmother called. I answered because she rarely called, and when she did, it was usually important. I saw Tyler's post, she said without preamble. Here we go? Okay, I said carefully. Your mother called me yesterday. She's very upset. I imagine she is. Grandma was quiet for a moment. Then, she said you refused to help Tyler with a business loan. That's correct. Because you don't believe in him? Because co-signing a loan for $45,000 is a massive financial risk I can't afford to take. Another pause. Your mother seems to think you're being selfish. I waited. Grandma had a way of making statements that were really questions. What do you think? She asked finally. Honest question deserved an honest answer. I think they've always expected me to sacrifice for Tyler. When we worked at the family business, he made almost double what I made despite doing less work. They paid for his entire college education while I took loans. Every time he's failed at something, they've covered his losses. Now they want me to risk my financial stability for another venture that probably won't succeed, and I'm supposed to do it because family. Grandma listened quietly. Then, you're not wrong to protect yourself. The validation surprised me. Mom and Dad don't see it that way. Your mother sees Tyler as someone who needs protecting. She always has. From the time he was little, she worried about him more than you. Why? You were easier. You figured things out. Tyler struggled and needed more hand-holding. Over time, that became the pattern. Tyler gets help, you get expected to manage. Hearing it stated so plainly made something click. That's not fair, I said. No, it's not. But parents don't always see their patterns clearly. They think they're helping, not creating dependency. Tyler's 27. When does the helping stop? When he learns to help himself. Or when circumstances force it. Like a loan denial from a bank. And his brother. Mom said they might stop treating me like family if I don't help. Grandma made a disapproving sound. That's manipulation. And it's beneath her. But she means it. Probably. When she's angry. But eventually she'll realize that pushing you away doesn't help Tyler. It just damages her relationship with you. I wanted to believe that. But I wasn't sure. Thank you for calling, I said. I'm proud of you for setting boundaries. That takes courage, especially with family. The call ended warmly. It was the first supportive conversation I'd had about this situation. The weekend passed quietly. No calls from my parents. No texts from Tyler. I almost relaxed. Then Sunday evening, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered cautiously. Is this Tyler's brother? Male voice, unfamiliar. Who's asking? My name is Brett. I'm an investor Tyler's been talking to about his marketing agency. Oh no. Okay, I said carefully. He mentioned you were going to co-sign the bank loan, but I heard that fell through. I wanted to reach out directly because I'm considering putting money into the venture, but I do my due diligence first. This was new. What kind of due diligence? Background on the team. Tyler speaks highly of you. Says you're a financial analyst. I wanted to get your read on the business plan. This was a trap. Either Tyler had genuinely listed me as part of his team without asking, or this investor was testing something. I'm not involved with the business, I said carefully. Tyler indicated you'd be handling financial oversight. Absolutely not. That's incorrect. I'm not part of the venture in any capacity. Pause on the other end. That's interesting. He presented this as a family business with built-in financial expertise. Of course he did. I declined to participate. I'm not co-signing any loans, and I'm not providing financial oversight. Brett's voice cooled noticeably. I appreciate the honesty. That changes the risk profile considerably. The call ended shortly after. I sat there, stunned. Tyler had apparently been telling potential investors I was involved, using my credentials to make his venture look more legitimate. Without asking. Without telling me. I called Tyler immediately. He answered on the fourth ring. Yeah. Did you tell an investor I'm part of your business team? Silence. Then, who called you? Someone named Brett. He said you told him I'd be handling financial oversight. I mean, I thought you would be. Family helps family, right? The audacity was breathtaking. I explicitly told you I'm not co-signing the loan. Why would you think I'd be involved at all? I figured you'd come around eventually. You always do. That stung because it was true. Historically, I'd always eventually caved to family pressure. Worked late at the family business when Tyler called in sick. Covered Tyler's portion of Mom's birthday gift when he was short on cash. Helped Tyler move 3 times because he kept finding better apartments. The pattern was clear. I trained them to expect my compliance. Not this time, I said firmly. So you're going to make me look bad in front of investors? You made yourself look bad by lying about my involvement. I didn't lie. I was optimistic. You committed me to a role I never agreed to. That's not optimism. That's fraud. Tyler's voice rose. Don't be dramatic. It's not fraud. Using someone's credentials without permission to secure investment absolutely is. Whatever, man. I'm trying to build something here, and you're actively sabotaging it. I wasn't sabotaging anything. I was protecting myself from being dragged into another Tyler disaster. Stop telling people I'm involved. I'm not. Fine. Good luck getting invited to any family events. He hung up. I sat there, phone in hand, realizing that the family fracture was complete. Monday at work, I found myself distracted. David noticed during a meeting. Afterward, he pulled me aside. Family stuff still? I nodded. Did you co-sign? No. But apparently my brother's been telling investors I'm part of his team without asking me. David whistled low. That's identity fraud territory. That's what I said. He called me dramatic. You need to document everything. Emails, texts, call logs. If he keeps using your name, you might need legal protection. I hadn't thought that far ahead. But David was right. If Tyler kept representing me as part of his business, I could be held liable for things I never agreed to. Send him an email. Clear, documented statement that you're not involved and he doesn't have permission to use your name or credentials. Keep the receipt. Good advice. I drafted the email during lunch. Kept it simple and factual. Tyler, this email confirms our phone conversation. I am not involved with your marketing agency venture in any capacity. You do not have my permission to list me as part of your team, reference my credentials, or imply my involvement to investors or anyone else. Any representation of my involvement is unauthorized and must stop immediately. Best regards. I sent it. He responded within 20 minutes. Wow. Putting it in writing like I'm a stranger. Thanks for the trust. I didn't respond. The paper trail mattered more than his hurt feelings. Tuesday morning, Mom called. I answered. You sent Tyler a legal-sounding email? Word traveled fast. I sent him a clear statement that I'm not involved with his business and he can't use my name. He's your brother, which is why I'm giving him clear boundaries instead of suing him for fraud. Mom's voice pitched higher. Suing him? Are you insane? Over what? He told an investor I'm handling financial oversight for his business. That's using my credentials without permission. He was trying to make his business look legitimate. By lying. Using my name. Without asking. You're blowing this completely out of proportion. Maybe. Or maybe I was finally holding boundaries that should have existed years ago. I need you to stop calling me about Tyler's business. I'm not involved. I'm not co-signing anything. I'm not participating. Please respect that. Respect that you're abandoning your brother. Respect that I'm protecting myself. Mom's voice got cold. Fine. If that's how you want it. Don't expect Christmas invitations. Don't expect birthday calls. If you're not family when it matters, you're not family at all. The ultimatum hung there. If that's your choice, I'll respect it, I said quietly. My choice. You're the one choosing yourself over family. I'm choosing self-preservation over self-destruction. If you can't understand that, then maybe some distance is healthy. I heard her sharp intake of breath. Then the line went dead. She'd hung up. I sat at my desk, hands shaking slightly. I'd just been uninvited from family events. By my own mother. For refusing to financially ruin myself for my brother's likely to fail business venture. The logic was insane. But the hurt was real. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday passed without family contact. No calls. No texts. Nothing. The silence was somehow worse than the pressure. Saturday morning, I woke up to a text from Tyler's friend Marcus. Hey man, Tyler told me what happened. That's rough. For what it's worth, I think you're making the right call. He owes me $3,000 from 2 years ago. Still hasn't paid me back. Good luck. The message was validating and depressing simultaneously. Tyler owed his friend $3,000 for 2 years, and somehow I was supposed to co-sign a $45,000 loan. I thanked Marcus for the message. Then I did something I'd been avoiding. I calculated exactly how much Tyler had cost me over the years. Not the emotional cost, the actual financial cost. Covering his share of group gifts, roughly $2,000 across 5 years. Helping him move 3 times, $600 in truck rentals and gas. The time I loaned him $800 for rent when he was between jobs, never repaid. Various smaller amounts, probably another $500 total. Almost $4,000. Not including the opportunity cost of working below market rate at the family business for 3 years while he was paid substantially more. If I'd been paid fairly, that was probably another $30,000 in lost wages. $34,000. Almost the amount of the loan they wanted me to co-sign. I closed the calculator app. The math was depressing. Sunday afternoon, Grandma called again. Your mother called me. She's very upset. I know. She uninvited me from family events. She told me. I told her she's being ridiculous. That must have gone well. How'd she take that? About as well as you'd expect. She hung up on me too. I almost smiled despite everything. Sorry for causing family drama. You didn't cause it. You exposed it. There's a difference. Grandma had a way of reframing things that made sense. She says I'm choosing myself over family. You're choosing yourself over enabling your brother. Those aren't the same thing. She doesn't see it that way. She will eventually. Or she won't. Either way, you did the right thing. We talked for another 20 minutes. About nothing important. Just normal conversation. It felt good to have at least one family member who wasn't demanding something from me. Monday brought unexpected developments. Tyler posted another Facebook update. This one was different. Sometimes you realize who your real supporters are. Grateful for everyone who believes in this venture. To those who don't, your loss. The comments were mixed this time. Some supportive. Others questioning why he kept posting about it instead of just building the business. One comment from his ex-girlfriend Nina. Maybe focus less on social media validation and more on actual planning. I noticed he deleted that comment within an hour. Tuesday, I got an email from the bank. Subject, loan application status. They were formally notifying me that I'd been removed as a co-signer from Tyler's loan application. I hadn't realized I was officially on it. Apparently, Tyler had submitted preliminary paperwork with my information before I'd even agreed. The presumption was incredible and concerning. I forwarded the email to my personal records folder. Documentation, like David had suggested. Wednesday evening, I got a call from Dad. First time since our cold conversation. I answered. "Your mother's birthday is next month," he said without greeting. "Okay. She wants to know if you're coming to dinner." The olive branch was barely disguised. "Am I invited?" Pause. "That depends on whether you're still refusing to help your brother." Not an olive branch after all. A conditional invitation. "My position hasn't changed," I said. "Then I don't think it's a good idea for you to come. It would just create tension." "Understood." Another pause. "That's it. You're okay with missing your mother's birthday." "I'm not okay with it. But I'm not changing my boundaries to attend." "Boundaries," Dad repeated, like the word tasted bad. When did family become about boundaries instead of support? When support became code for unlimited sacrifice. Dad sighed heavily. "You've changed. Ever since you left the business and moved to the city. I've grown. There's a difference. You've become selfish." The accusation stung despite expecting it. Protecting myself isn't selfish. It is when your family needs you. We were going in circles. "Dad, I love you and Mom. I love Tyler. But I can't set myself on fire to keep everyone else warm." "No one's asking you to set yourself on fire. You're asking me to risk $45,000 and my financial stability for a business venture with a high probability of failure. That's close enough." Dad was quiet. Then, "I hope you don't regret this when you're alone." The implication was clear. Choose Tyler's loan or choose isolation. "I hope you don't regret losing a son over a business loan," I said quietly. The call ended. I sat in my apartment, feeling the full weight of what was happening. My family was genuinely cutting me off. Over boundaries. Over protecting myself. Over refusing to enable another Tyler failure. Thursday at work, I mentioned to David that I'd been uninvited for my mother's birthday. "How do you feel about that?" he asked. Complicated question. Sad. Angry. Relieved. Guilty. All of it. The guilty part is the family conditioning. They've trained you to feel guilty for having boundaries. That made sense. But knowing it logically didn't make it hurt less emotionally. How long did it take you to stop feeling guilty after your family situation? David had mentioned being estranged from his parents years ago. Honestly, about 2 years before the guilt fully faded. But the peace started almost immediately. Peace sounded nice. Right now I just felt turmoil. Friday evening, Tyler posted another update. "Excited to announce I've secured alternative funding for my venture. Sometimes when one door closes, a better door opens. Thanks to everyone who believed in me." Alternative funding. I wondered what that meant. Saturday morning, I found out. Marcus texted me. "FYI, Tyler's been asking friends for investment money. Told me he needs $10K and he'll double it within a year. Thought you should know. $10,000. From multiple friends." That was how he was funding this. Crowdsourcing from people who didn't know his failure history. I thanked Marcus for the heads up. Then I did nothing. Tyler's friends were adults who could make their own decisions. Warning them felt like interference I didn't have the energy for. Sunday, I spent the day deliberately away from my phone. Went hiking. Got lunch at a new restaurant. Saw a movie. Tried to be present instead of spiraling about family drama. It mostly worked. Monday brought a surprise. Email from Dad. Subject, "We should talk." The message was brief. "Can you come for dinner this week? Just the two of us. Your mother doesn't know I'm reaching out." I stared at the email. Secret dinner invitation. Either this was genuine olive branch territory, or it was another manipulation attempt. I responded, "Wednesday at 7. He replied within minutes, "See you then." Wednesday evening, I drove to my parents' house. Mom's car wasn't in the driveway. Good. Dad opened the door before I could knock. "She's at her book club," he said immediately. We went inside. The house looked the same. Family photos on the walls, including ones with me, which surprised me slightly. I'd half expected them to be removed. Dad had made spaghetti, my favorite as a kid. The gesture felt significant. We sat at the kitchen table, just like old times. Except everything was different now. "I wanted to talk without your mother here because she's emotionally invested in a particular outcome," Dad started. Diplomatic phrasing. "She wants me to co-sign the loan. She wants you to support Tyler however necessary." Same thing. Dad twirled spaghetti on his fork. "I've been thinking about what you said. About how we treated you differently at the business." This was new territory. "Okay. You were right. We paid Tyler more because your mother was worried about him. Worried he'd quit, or fail, or lose confidence. So we propped him up. Hearing the admission was validating and painful simultaneously. At my expense. Dad nodded slowly. At your expense. We told ourselves you were fine. You'd figure it out. You didn't need the same level of support. I needed fairness. You deserved fairness. I see that now. I waited. There had to be more. I also see that we created dependency in Tyler. Every time we rescued him, we prevented him from learning to rescue himself. That was exactly right. So what does this mean? I asked. Dad set down his fork. It means I understand why you said no to the loan. And I support your decision. The relief was immediate and overwhelming. Does Mom know you feel this way? Not yet. We've been arguing about it. She thinks I'm betraying Tyler by not pressuring you more. What do you think? I think Tyler needs to learn what real failure feels like. Not failure that gets cushioned by family money. Actual failure. It's the only way he'll learn to plan better, execute better, try harder. This was the most honest conversation we'd had in years. What about family events? Mom uninvited me. Dad winced. She's hurt and lashing out. I'm working on her. But it might take time. How much time? I don't know. But I want you to know that I still consider you my son. This doesn't change that for me. Something tight in my chest loosened slightly. Thank you. We finished dinner talking about normal things. Work, sports, the new restaurant that opened downtown. It felt like reconnecting with someone I'd lost. When I left, Dad hugged me at the door. I'm proud of you, he said quietly. For setting boundaries. For protecting yourself. For being strong enough to say no. I drove home feeling lighter than I had in weeks. One parent supporting me was better than none. The following week, Tyler's social media went quiet. No updates about the business. No inspirational posts about entrepreneurship. Just silence. I wondered if the friend funding had fallen through. Or if reality was setting in. Friday afternoon, Marcus texted. Tyler asked me for money again. Told him no this time. He got said. Thought you'd want to know the pattern continues. The pattern indeed continued. Saturday, Grandma called. Your father told me about your dinner. Of course he did. It went well. I'm glad. He needed to say those things to you. He's been carrying guilt about the business situation for years. He has. He knew it wasn't fair. But your mother was so insistent, and he chose peace at home over fairness to you. He regrets it. Learning that my father had known all along, but chosen not to fix it was complicated. I don't know how to feel about that. Feel however you need to. But also know that people are complicated. We make mistakes. Sometimes we prioritize the wrong things. What matters is whether we eventually recognize it and try to do better. Grandma wisdom. Is Mom any closer to coming around? Not yet. She's stubborn. But your father's working on her. And time has a way of softening things. I hope she was right. 3 weeks later, Tyler posted that he was taking a step back from the agency idea to focus on other opportunities. Translation. The venture failed before it launched. No admission of why. No acknowledgement of the people who'd probably lost money investing in his idea. Just moving on to the next thing. I didn't comment. Didn't react. Just noted it and moved on with my life. My birthday came in early December. I didn't expect anything from my family. But Dad called that morning. Happy birthday, son. Thanks, Dad. Your mother wanted me to tell you she says happy birthday too. Progress. Small, but present. Tell her thank you. She's not ready to call yet. But she asked about you last week. Asked how you're doing. What did you tell her? That you're doing well. That you're happy. That you made the right choice even though it was hard. How'd she take it? She changed the subject. But she didn't argue. More progress. Christmas approached. I made plans with friends instead of expecting family invitations. 2 days before Christmas, Dad called. Your mother wants to know if you'd come for Christmas dinner. Just dinner. No expectations. No drama about Tyler. The invitation surprised me. Will Tyler be there? Yes. But I've told both him and your mother that there will be no discussion of the business loan or any related topics. This is neutral ground. Risky, but also potentially healing. Okay, I'll come. Really. But if anyone brings up the loan or tries to guilt trip me, I'm leaving immediately. That's fair. I'll make sure everyone knows the ground rules. Christmas dinner was awkward but not hostile. Tyler barely spoke to me. Mom was polite but distant. Dad tried to keep conversation flowing. Grandma, who was also there, asked me about work and seemed genuinely interested. No one mentioned the loan. No one mentioned boundaries or family obligations. We just existed in the same space. It wasn't warm, but it wasn't war. After dinner, as I was leaving, Mom stopped me at the door. Thank you for coming, she said quietly. Not an apology, but an acknowledgement. Thank you for inviting me. She nodded. I drove home feeling cautiously optimistic. February brought unexpected news. Tyler got a job, an actual job with a salary and benefits. Dad told me during one of our now regular phone calls. It's in sales. He seems to be doing well. That's good. He's been more stable. Having structure seems to help. Structure Tyler had resisted for years while pursuing failed ventures. I'm glad he found something. And I genuinely was. Not because I wanted him to succeed to validate my family's faith in him, but because him having stable income meant less pressure on everyone, including me. March marked 6 months since the loan request. 6 months of boundaries. 6 months of limited but present family contact. 6 months of learning that protecting myself didn't make me selfish. It made me responsible. Mom called in late March. First time she'd called directly since the uninviting conversation. "Hi," she said when I answered. "Hi, Mom." Pause. I wanted to apologize. The words hung there, unexpected and significant. For what specifically? I asked, keeping my voice neutral. For making you choose between your security and our relationship. That wasn't fair. The acknowledgement was huge. Thank you. Your father's been helping me understand some things. About how we treated you and Tyler differently. About the business. About expectations. I waited. I still wish you'd help Tyler. But I understand why you couldn't. And I'm sorry for punishing you for protecting yourself. It wasn't a perfect apology. I still wish you'd helped part showed she hadn't fully shifted. But it was movement. Real movement. I appreciate you saying that, Mom. Can we try to rebuild? Slowly. I'd like that. The conversation didn't fix everything, but it cracked open a door that had been sealed shut. Over the following months, my relationship with my parents slowly healed. Not back to what it was. Something different. Something more honest. With clearer boundaries and more mutual respect. Tyler and I remained distant. Cordial at family events. But not close. Maybe we'd never been close, and I was just seeing it clearly now. That was okay. Not all family relationships needed to be deep. Some could just be respectful coexistence. By summer, I'd stopped obsessing over the family dynamics. Stopped replaying conversations in my head. Stopped wondering if I'd made the right choice. I knew I had. My credit was intact. My savings were growing. My career was advancing. And I'd learned that sometimes love means saying no. Sometimes family means protecting yourself. Sometimes the hardest boundary is the most necessary one. The loan that almost destroyed my family relationships ended up teaching me the most important lesson of my adult life. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't save someone who won't save themselves. And you can't sacrifice your future to fund someone else's fantasy. Those realizations didn't make me selfish. They made me whole.